Reparations. Welcome to the board of the Bantu. I'm not expecting this one to be a long one because everything is like hanging in the air. But we are going to be looking at reparations, which I really fully support. I do not care who says what, when, and how. I fully support reparations because every day, I talk to ancestors who were enslaved, and some of them share their experiences, and they were horrifying and harrowing and just yeah. Yeah. So I believe in reparations. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'll just put my point. I'll just put my statement out here. I do. So we're going to check out the reparations of these United States of America, what they want to pay their the descendants of the slaves. And I did say on my Instagram that they're going to start by paying it's going to start by being a state-funded thing, and then with time it will become a federal thing because it's going to become a mess. So we're going to look at that and we're going to enjoy ourselves. But first and foremost, welcome to the board of the Bantu. Welcome. Boo, boo, boo. Welcome. Oh, boo, boo. Welcome to the board of the Bantu. Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, Rwanda, Tanzania, the Congo, Cameroon, Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mozambique, Botswana, South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini, Madagascar, and maybe a couple of others that I have forgotten. All Bantu territory. Welcome to their board of spirituality, their board of religion, their board of justice, and their board of health. All in one. We didn't waste time. We put everything under one roof. We were economical. This board right here is being run by the Xhosa of the Eastern Cape of South Africa. And this is their baby, Isobel Mitton, your Sangoma, your witch doctor. Okay, because I'm changing now from witch doctor to Sangoma. It's time. It's time. So this board is run by your Sangoma right here, Isobel Mitton. Welcome to the board of my ancestors. As we try to unravel what is gonna happen, boom, 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 with reparations. Yeah, we've been watching them for quite a while. Those of you who have been following me forever and been with me forever, you know that we've been talking about reparations for ages, and now we are seeing the paperwork beginning to move, but it's moving in an interesting way. It's moving state to state rather than federal government. The federal government is staying out of it, But we'll see. Let's check out reparations. Okay. Okay, so I'm literally gonna call your ancestors. Yes. Yeah. Because we gotta call somebody. So I'm literally gonna call your ancestors. I wanna call all the ancestors of everybody I have ever read. Yeah. And I'm going to congregate them all like it's March 10. And we're going to discuss reparations. Yeah. And maybe other things will come out too. We'll see. Today I'm in a free-flowing kind of state of mind. Okay. Calling on all the ancestors I have ever read. Calling on all the ancestors that I have ever read. Calling on all the ancestors I have ever read. Calling on all the ancestors I have ever read. And my plate is full. As you can see, three groups of ancestors have been blocked. They cannot come. They have been blocked, but my plate is still full. I have them all or as they are still walking in. They are still walking in. Please make room for each other. I just heard that's enough. Okay. Alrighty. I have congregated you all in our room of light, the room of light of the CASA, so that you can tell us about the reparations of the United States. And now a debate begins, because one group of ancestors are saying there will be no reparations. So I'm going to go with that. There will be no reparations. They can never repay or pay us for what they did to us. There is no amount of money, no amount of water, no amount of earth that will pay us back. Will the pay, this is going to be a really, will the payment begin with those who sold us, our family members who grabbed us from our beds and who sold us, the other villages when we lost wars to them? Are they going to pay also? Are they going to pay for the blood on their hands? Or you are just telling those who used us as animals to pay? This has just become very complicated. Let me fix this. My grandmother is replying. She says, well, it's not for us to be saying who is going to pay the reparations and why. We do not have that power. We called you in so that we could talk about it. See what is going to happen for your offspring on the ground. The answer is nothing worth what should happen. So my grandma has taken over. So she says, what do you think should happen? And they say a complete turnover. They should be slaves and we should be the masters. So there is nothing here that would ease your hearts. No. There is nothing here that will stop you from raging. No. Except their own slavery. Yes. Starting with those who put us in bondage in the first place. And then those who used us in bondage. So basically, this is my grandma asking, because the plate became overwhelming for me. So she says, so basically, you would like your own to pay. And they've just asked my grandmother, are you not our own? And my grandmother says, I am not. They said, no, you are not. So who are you? My grandmother says, a Xhosa. She's asking for one spokesperson. Says, I cannot talk to all of you. Can one of you step up and talk to me? A very tall man, almost Sudanese-like, steps forward. He's carrying a very tall spear, like very tall spear. He steps forward. He says he's not Sudanese, because I said says he's Noor, N-O-O-R. Okay, I'm gonna look them up. I don't know who they are. It's Arabic. That's all. That's as close as I'm getting to that name and trying to look it up. He's Arabic. He steps up and he says he is the spokesperson, and then he like he has a staff, but it's a very tall one. He still looks Sudanese to me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know much about that part of Africa. My apologies. I really don't know. He looks Sudanese to me, but whatever. So, so he has stepped forward. So my grandma is saying, so you are the spokesperson? And he says, I am the spokesperson. My grandmother's asking him why. He says, because I am the beginning. He says it was normal to sell people like cattle. It was done by the poor when the wives had too many children that the family could not feed. When the child was sickly and was about to die or had an illness or a disease. This is how slavery began. Slavery began with the getting rid of the undesirables. Please explain some more, my grandma is asking. And he says, when a child is sickly and weak, you sold the child so that, it would be dead by 7 or 8 years of age from overuse or lashings, or he's like saying for sex, the sexual purpose, then the child will die, then no one will care. So seriously, that's what I'm getting. I did not expect this, but whenever I start reading something, I always get what I did not expect. Okay, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting exactly what I just said, and I'm like in a state of shock that when kids were sickly and they were little boys or girls, they were often sold for sex to rich men who would then use them until they die. He says, correct. Why are you flinching? Yeah, because that's horrible. And my grandmother is saying, be quiet. So he says there was always a purpose for the weaklings, always a purpose for the lethargic, always a purpose for those who were, and who came unwell, who came into this world with a defect. That's how slavery started. It started as something like that. And then it evolved with time, and then it became about the strongest gladiators, because now they could see there was more to be made out of humans than just what they were getting before. And then it reached a point when there was nothing but cruelty and evil attached to it. Now there were no longer excuses. There were no longer, we are doing this because we are, no more excuses. Now they were doing it for the money, and many prospered, many on home ground, home territory, the earth that is home, prospered from our blood. What people do not realize is more died than were actually caught and put on those boats, and more died than what actually landed. There was indiscriminate decimation. Then he's turning to my grandmother and he's saying, how come you don't know this? And my grandmother said, because it is not in our history. And he says, I understand. You were too far. He says, not really. But yeah, we were lucky rather than being too far. So he says, more died. So when you talk about reparations, are you talking about those who died in an attempt to capture them? Those who died on the way to enslavement, and then those who were dehumanized and permanently damaged. In what way were they permanently damaged? Their energies changed, their energies morphed because of their experiences. Their energies morphed and changed, and their children and their children's children and their children's children inherited those energies. And now they struggle with health issues, mental, physical. Just sitting on a vortex of energies that rotate with no control and are unique to them because of their experiences. What reparations are you talking about? Grandma says, the reparations of the United States. The United States. He says there can be no reparations without the cleansing of the filth, the energetic filth that was put on this skin, which we can't wash off and which our progeny cannot wash off. My grandmother says, understood. Yet we are faced, this is going to take a while. Yet we are faced with reparations. We are faced with, we will pay you money for the suffering of your ancestors. Our suffering cannot be bought off. An eye for an eye. That is what we demand. Grandma says, can I talk to somebody else, please? Can I talk to somebody else, please? That's what Grandma just said. She said, well, he's being stubborn. I'm trying to explain politely to him that we understand the layers of slavery, but we are just here to discuss one small topic, and he will not. The great Kwasa has just reprimanded my grandmother. Yeah, he's just told her that this is the way it's gonna go. He is going to speak until he can't anymore. Okay. My grandma is rolling her eyes. Okay, so, alrighty. Are we ready again? Okay. Mr. Noir, I'm going to call you Mr. Noir or Noir or Noor. You would like an eye for an eye, but it's not possible. Times have changed. Slavery no longer exists. Yes, it does, he said, in many forms. What you call the modern world is nothing but slavery. Your world was built on slavery. The energy in the vein of slavery is what makes it tick. It exists. It will never go away. In fact, it shall flourish under disguise. Under disguise, it shall flourish again. We may not be the slaves, this skin color, but there will always be slaves on this earth. Would you like to explain to me how slavery works today? Yes. People are owned. Whoever gives you sustenance owns you. Whoever gives you your daily bread owns you. You either find your own bread or you are a slave. But surely, even looking for your own bread comes from people. There is a difference. There is a difference at putting food in someone else's mouth and saying, thank you for what you have given me. With, I'm giving you this money so that you can do something for me. So who's the slave? Grandma is confused. Me too. The one who is told, thank you for your service, and they put money in the hand. Grandma is saying, surely that's everybody? No. The one who feeds themselves and feeds others is less of a slave. But if they are fed by someone else, they are slaves. Okay, let's round this up into modern terms. So you're saying every employee is a slave? Yes. See, my grandmother is saying, but she's using us as an example, but we work for the people. Doesn't that make us their slave? He says yes, but from a different perspective. He says you are enslaved by those who are higher than you. But anyone who is getting an income for anything at all is a slave, no matter how you try to couch it, because no one was born to work for anyone else. When God made man, he said to every man, create your own sustenance. So when you are working for someone else, you are helping them create theirs. Therefore, you're a slave. You have enslaved yourself, or they have enslaved you. Shall we go back to the reparations? Grandma is persistent. I like it because I'm about to sleep over here. I'm about to sleep. He says, only if the Africans pay our progeny reparations first. On that note, I am going to take it to part 2. Okay, this is a very interesting debate, and I had not thought of it, but okay, I'm taking it up to part 2. For those who are watching me on this, thank you so much for watching. Please join me on Patreon. Have a great week, people. Be kind to yourselves, to others. Feel your own importance. Kisses.